All right, guys. So on that, let's go to another topic here, genetic potential. This guy, he wants to know that he wants to use steroids. He's been talking to people on forums, and some people have mentioned that he should hit his genetic potential before using steroids. He wants to know, is this true? What does it mean? Or is it just bro science? Rick, you've been around the forums a long time. I remember back in the old days, a lot of guys would talk about genetic potential. So what do you think the definition of genetic potential is when people on forums keep mentioning it? And do you think that there is such thing as hitting your genetic potential?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most guys that are training consistently, switching up their training, switching up their diet, you're going to reach a plateau at around 5 to 6 years into your training, maybe 7 if you've got good genetics. And what I mean by plateau is just a plateau in muscle growth, a genetic plateau where your body just doesn't want to get any bigger. If you're working on athleticism, you may be able to get stronger and faster all the way through you peaking in performance in your mid-30s and then going back down in performance into your 40s, which most guys are able to do depending on the sport, right? But when it comes to reaching your genetic potential for bodybuilding, 5 to 6 years, maybe 7 of just natural training where you're working diet, working everything is when you're going to reach it. And you shouldn't use steroids until that point. It's my true belief, if I can tell everybody out there, don't use steroids until you've absolutely, completely reached your genetic potential, where you've had 5 years of continuous training. It's not 5 years of like taking 3 and 4 months off per year. No, it's 5 years where you're maybe taking 2 weeks off per year, if that combined, if you're taking weeks off. It is my belief, and this is what I've seen in myself and other folks I've worked with. If you reach your genetic potential, your first cycle is probably going to put a good 10, maybe 15 pounds of solid mass on you that'll stay on your frame even after you get off the steroids, providing you recover and your testicles are making enough testosterone. As long as you recover, you should be able to keep it on. Your second cycle, you might have, again, 5 to 10 pounds from that one that you'll get to keep on. Then your third cycle, you might get a couple of pounds here and there that you'll get to keep on. If you reach your genetic potential, your first 3 cycles should deliver a good, maybe on average, 20 to 30 pounds of solid muscle that you should be able to keep long-term, even if you never touch steroids again. If you don't reach your genetic potential before you do that, you're going to find that the steroids are going to blow you up, puff you up. And then when you get off of them, you're going to lose all of it. And then you'll have a real hard time making natural gains. Listen, guys, if you use steroids, it'll be really tough to make natural gains for a couple of years after. It'll take a while for you to be able to, again, just make really good natural gains once you get off the steroids, if you didn't push your muscles to develop and to mature enough before you add these synthetic androgens on.
So guys, I use this example a lot on the forums, but I kind of want to tell you guys a little story. The guy who won the Mr. Olympia last year was Sean Roden. Does anyone know how old Sean Roden is? He's 43 years old. Now, do you know when he started lifting, bodybuilding? 17, as a teenager. So it took him 27 years of bodybuilding to finally win Mr. Olympia, which is his peak. That's as high as you can go. Winning Mr. Olympia is the highest you go. So if it took him 27 years of bodybuilding, using a ton of steroids, best coaches, best diet, best workouts, everything, imagine you. So this is a lot. I just want to be clear, guys. I'm taking what Rick said and building on it, in that this is a lifetime. This is a marathon of reaching the peak of your career. Now, some of you are going to end up with injuries. You're going to have to dial it back a notch. You may peak with your strength in your early 30s, mid 30s. I know I did. I don't lift super heavy anymore. I think I was probably 33, 34, maybe 35 when I hit my strength PRs. And I may never hit those strength PRs again. But that's my own fault because I pushed myself so hard that I got injured. So I had to take a step back. So you have to remember that this is a long-term thing, guys, and you're not going to just keep improving on a trajectory. So take your time a little bit on this stuff, guys. Just hopping on steroids after training for 6 months or a year, it just doesn't make any sense, because like I said, if Sean Roden, who has amazing genetics, went 27 years he probably started using steroids when he was a teenager, and it took him 27 years to finally reach his peak, then why would you need to use steroids right away? It's not going to make much of a difference. If Sean Roden would have waited 10 years before he started using steroids, he probably still would have won Mr. Olympia, because it took him a long time, guys. This is a marathon. You can only build so much muscle on your frame a year. I always tell people you can only build 1 to 2 pounds of lean muscle tissue per year doing this. And a lot of people laugh at that. They think it's silly. They think I'm an idiot. They're like, no, I can gain 20 pounds of muscle on a cycle. I say, no, I'm talking about actual lean muscle tissue. It takes a long time. There's homeostasis as well. Homeostasis is going to continue to fight you your whole life. Your body's going to want to continue to shed that muscle. It doesn't want to build the muscle. So you really have to take a long-term approach to this, or you're going to just drive yourself fucking crazy. If you think that you can just weight train for a couple years and be like, well, I hit my genetic potential, let me hop on steroids, it's not going to work like that. Anything else, Fabric?
No, I think we pretty much covered it, man. Look, at the core of it all is you want to give yourself 5 years to learn how to train, learn how your body responds to different diets, different training programs, different protocols. Learning good technique. It takes a while just to have good technique to strengthen all the stabilizing muscles so that you can do some of the more complex work. It takes a while. So give yourself that time and enjoy the process. Look, when you start training, right, you see a different guy in the mirror every week, every 2 weeks. If you keep training and you stay steady at it and you work your diet, the changes come on so quickly and they continue going on for years that, you shouldn't jump on steroids so quickly. Just give your body time to train. I mean, you'll see it. If you stay consistent in the gym, run a good diet, different guy in the mirror every week, different guy. And once you reach that plateau, once it's just hard to gain more mass, once it's hard to do anymore, that's when you want to look into steroids, into taking that next level. And eventually the steroids are not going to be enough. And then you're going to end up looking into peptides and growth hormones. And if you're a really top level guy, maybe that stuff won't keep you competitive anymore. And then you got to start messing with insulin and other things. But you have a lot of steps to go. So start off naturally, see where your body can get to naturally. Give yourself 5-7 years. 5 years is good. 7 years would be ideal. Just hard, natural training before you hop on anything. And even use some over-the-counter stuff. Some of this plant-based extracts and things that are available over-the-counter in the market. Some testosterone boosters, protein, work all that stuff. Once you've been training for a couple of years and it's a lifestyle, then you could add some over-the-counter supplements for a couple of years. Then once you've exceeded everything you can do with over-the-counter stuff that's pretty healthy, then you can go into the black market and take a chance at some of these stronger compounds that are harder to work with.
Yeah, 2 I can recommend that are natural, and 2 Generate and creatine are very, very good, and they're not expensive at all. You can add those.